How and why should you get a license to trade precious metals in Hong Kong? Hong Kong is not just Asia's financial hub, but also one of the key global centers for trading gold and other precious metals. Every day, billions of dollars in deals pass through the city's exchanges and over-the-counter platforms. However, access to this high-yield sector is strictly regulated. Obtaining a license from the Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department isn't a bureaucratic formality, but a fundamental requirement that separates professional market participants from everyone else. Such a license is your passport to the world of legal, protected and respectable trading. Without it, any operation with precious metals in Hong Kong or abroad, if you operate outside Hong Kong, will be considered illegal, with all the resulting risks, from asset confiscation and heavy fines to criminal liability and a business ban. For a serious business, this is the first mandatory step, forming the basis for long-term sustainable activity. Why is Hong Kong the perfect platform for trading precious metals? Legal clarity and stability. Hong Kong legislation clearly regulates the industry through the Ordinance on Dealers in Precious Metals. You operate under clear, transparent and predictable rules. No VAT or import and export taxes. Gold and investment precious metals are exempt from these fees, making logistics, storage and international deliveries extremely efficient. World-class infrastructure, the presence of recognized vaults, for example, at the international airport, leading refineries and major banks providing storage, insurance and trade finance services. Counterparty trust. A license instantly boosts your status in the eyes of banks, institutional investors and international partners, making it easier to open accounts and access funding. Exchange access. A license is a prerequisite for working through the Chinese Gold and Silver Exchange Society, one of Asia's oldest and most respected exchanges with a solid business reputation. License categories. What's the key difference? The Customs and Excise Department identifies two main categories, and understanding their differences is critical for choosing the right business model. Category A license. The essence of the activity is retail and wholesale trade, buying and selling precious metals to clients in the form of bars, coins and jewelry. Wholesale trade and refining, activities between dealers, wholesale supplies and processing. The target audience for this license includes investors, collectors, jewelry companies and end consumers. A key requirement is the mandatory physical place of trade, a shop or an office with a display window, accessible for inspections by Hong Kong authorities. A factory or equipped premises for refining, storing and processing metals in industrial volumes is required. The regulatory focus is on consumer protection, fraud prevention, clear hallmarking and product certification, control over the origin of metals, anti-money laundering and the safety of production processes and logistics. Step-by-step procedure for obtaining a license. The process requires careful preparation, strategic planning and a deep understanding of the regulator's requirements. Next, we move on to the main stages of obtaining a license. First is the registration of a company in Hong Kong. The company name should reflect the activity, for example, gold trading, so as not to raise additional questions with the regulator and banks. The Articles of Association must permit trading in precious metals and related operations. Second is the preparation of infrastructure and documents, the most critical stage. For Category A, leasing and fitting out commercial premises that meet Hong Kong government standards, display, security, CCTV and access control. For Category B, preparing production or warehouse space, certifying, refining and analysis equipment, ensuring industrial safety, developing internal policies and creating detailed regulations in line with the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing Ordinance, or AMLO, Know Your Customer policies, that's KYC, due diligence procedures and client risk assessment, suspicious transaction reporting policies and procedures for metal storage, accounting and inventory. Third is team formation, appointing a chief compliance officer responsible for AML and CFT. This person must have an impeccable reputation, proven experience and an understanding of industry specifics. Recruiting qualified staff who will undergo the necessary training and be familiar with internal regulations. Fourth is submitting an application to the CEA, completing extensive forms with full data on the company, beneficial owners, directors, the MLRO, funding sources and business reputation, attaching a business plan, workflow diagrams, descriptions of internal controls and risk management systems, and providing floor plans and proof of lease or ownership, including photos and security layouts. Fifth is verification and interview. Hong Kong authorities conduct a thorough check of all documents and individuals associated with a company, including a business history review. Applicants and key staff may be invited for an interview to discuss the business model, capital sources, and regulatory understanding in detail. Sixth is the payment of the license fee and obtaining the license itself. Once the application is approved, the set fee is paid and the license is issued for 1 or 3 years, with subsequent renewal subject to compliance with all requirements. Key requirements of the regulator: reputation and proper character, fit and proper. All beneficiaries, directors and the MLRO undergo deep vetting for integrity and the absence of compromising factors. Financial viability. It is necessary to confirm the availability of sufficient capital to conduct the declared activities and cover operating costs. Physical presence, a strict requirement for both categories. A shelf company without a real office, staff and infrastructure will not pass the check. AML compliance. This is an absolute priority. Incomplete policies and a tick box approach are the most common reasons for rejection. Premises security. Premises must be protected from unauthorized access and meet standards for storing valuables and industrial safety. The role of a professional consultant. Navigating this process alone carries a high risk of rejection due to minor errors, incomplete documentation, or a lack of understanding of regulatory nuances. Obtaining a precious metals dealer's license in Hong Kong is a complex but entirely predictable process for those who approach it systematically with the right experience and professional preparation. This is your ticket to one of the world's most prestigious and secure business arenas, opening access to international trade and institutional partners. And our company, West Union, will help you with this at every stage, from company registration to obtaining a license and ongoing business support. I'm Ozim Kozimzada, Head of Company Registration at the West Union Group of Companies. If you liked this video and found it useful, don't forget to give it a like. If you have any questions on this topic, we'll be waiting for them in the comments below.